points.
Welcome to POSTCAST tonight. The Jazz beat the Lakers. The Jazz moved to 8-7 over their last 15 games. Another good defensive night. The Jazz hold the Lakers to just 85 points, but probably the best all-around performance by Gordon Hayward of the season. He's had big quarters. Tonight he had a big game. He started with 16 in the first half. He had 15 in the second half. He was dominant for every minute he was on the floor.
And I think the big shots that he made, in a close basketball game was what was really impressive there for me. And he had made a couple of spin moves down there in the paint. I didn't think had any chance of going in. He ended up knocking those down. But I love it again, David, when he's aggressive offensively early in the ball game, putting the ball on the floor, trying to get to the hole. I just think that opens up so many things for him. He took 18 shots. I'm waiting for one night when he'll take 25.
Well, the Lakers came in as one of the best teams in the NBA taking care of the ball, and the Jazz forced 21 turnovers tonight. That is just not something the Jazz have been doing defensively. And you get the Lakers aren't very good, so you don't want to make too big a deal out of it. But, Ron, I've been waiting for this day because, to me, they've been playing the defense, but they have not been defending, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
And they've been in the right spots. They're learning it. Now, tonight, and even in Houston, they forced 20-plus turnovers. I think the 21, I'll check it, but I think it's the most turnovers they've forced in a game all year. They are now impacting plays defensively in a different way.
Well, the Lakers turned it over, 6 times in the first quarter?
Yep.
And that can get you rolling. I mean, that can get some early offensive points. I mean, that, gets everyone involved, and so many things can happen, off of those turnovers. But you're absolutely right. Anytime you can force turnovers, you get transition points, you get early buckets. And I think that's such a key defensively. We talk so much about Rudy, the way he protects the basket, protects the rim, but boy, forcing turnovers it's just as big as those block shots.
So the Jazz forced 20 turnovers the other night against Houston and 21 tonight. Those were season high, and then they surpassed it. So that's a really good sign. I don't know what they did against the Warriors, but it probably wasn't as much as the Warriors rolled a little bit in that one. This was an ugly basketball game, but I thought Coach Phil Johnson, who joins us at the beginning of the fourth quarter of home games, made an interesting point. You've got to stop trying to blow this team out. Just beat them. And that's kind of what the Jazz finally did. I think they tried to blow them out for a long time. They thought they should be able to handle them. And then at the end, they just closed on 11-4 run to walk away.
What a great comment. I mean, that was such a great comment there. Okay, the Lakers are without Kobe, and so we should roll over and just beat these guys by 20. That's not the case. But that was such a great comment there by Phil Johnson's, that you go out there and play and you do the right things. You're going to win the basketball game, whether you're going to blow them out off the floor or not. But when you go and think you can just blow them out, that means you're taking quick shots, you're taking bad shots, you're gambling, that type of thing, and that gets you in trouble.
I'm not sure what I thought of it at the time, but I'll at least talk about it, though. It's an interesting moment now. Enes Kanter had a pretty tough night tonight, was 1 of 9 shooting at the time, I believe, and let a left corner 3 rip and buried it, which turns out to be one of the bigger plays of the night. I don't know if I think that was the most absurd shot I've ever seen or the sign of some guts for a guy who was 1 of 9 to take the shot that was given to him.
Well, he was 1 for 3 from the three-point line there, David, and don't forget, that's the side that he's been knocking down the threes. And he has not knocked one down on the right side, but he's knocked them down here on the left. And that was another big 3 because I think Nick Young had just knocked down 3 free throws. And so that ended up getting that 3 points right back with that 3-point field goal.
Trey Burke puts in another 20 tonight, but more importantly, the way he's running the pick and roll, getting into the paint, some of the things this team is doing, they're really beginning to have an understanding. I think Quinn's beginning to have an understanding of what they can do.
Yeah, we watch practice, we watch shoot-arounds, we watch the repetitions, we watch them go through things over and over and over. Sooner or later, David, your body just going to react to certain things out there on the floor, and I think that might be what we're seeing right now.
Well, interesting road trip coming up. San Antonio is healthy, or at least healthier, with Kawhi Leonard. They blew out Portland tonight. We've got them coming up on Sunday. Feel free to tune in while you're watching football. We would greatly appreciate if you listen to the radio while you're watching football. Then we spend a few days in San Antonio before heading to Cleveland and Milwaukee, which are Eastern Conference playoff teams, but that doesn't mean that those aren't teams we can't beat.
Yeah, those are teams I think that the Jazz can maybe go out and steal. It's always good to at least win one on the road, and hopefully the Jazz can steal one of the 3.
Well, also Derek Favors tonight, 18-10.
Yeah, don't 3
with
Derek.
2 blocks.
He's been off the charts, man.
We can't just suddenly forget when a guy goes for 18-10 with 3 assists, no steals. 2 blocks. The final Rudy Gobert numbers are being calculated over here to my left. I don't think he had a particularly large impact on the night. And yet, when you look at his box score, he had 7.6 rebounds, 3 assists. I love the 3 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. That is just a huge collection of data points across the board in 25 minutes.
25 minutes. And I think that's what we're going to see. 25 minutes and there might be some nights when you might get up to 30, but I think you're going to pretty much see 25, 26 minutes in the basketball game. That gives Cantor a chance to stay out there on the floor and plenty of time. And you're talking about working those three together. That might be what we're going to see.
25 is a lot for him. Now, if you look at it, by the way, one of the things we were wondering is what the Jazz would do offensively when Rudy was on the floor. Tonight, the Jazz shot 25 of 50. Is that right? 25 of 51 with – no, that's not right. No, 23 of 43 with Rudy on the floor tonight. So that's not bad. That's making progress. That's the statistic we really got to watch. It's undeniable that Rudy's a great defensive player. Can the Jazz figure out how to play offensively with Rudy on the floor?
Well,
that's going to be the question.
Hopefully the Jazz continue to get better at that. And I'd like to see Rudy get a little bit better and have a little more confidence. I think when he gets the basketball down in the paint, close to the basket, he starts to rush. If he would just take his time, he's the tallest guy out there on the floor. No one can block that little jump hook if he decides to shoot it. But I think he rushes and it gets himself in trouble.
Rodney Hood was back in action. He played 21 minutes tonight. Good to see him out there. And it's a criminal offense in this league to only take 8 3-pointers. That's what the Lakers did. Jazz win it tonight. Final score 94-85. Have a good night. Be safe.